Hi, I'm Ashley Sue. This is Girl Meets Fire, where we talk about BTS and how that often relates to mental health and midlife. I just did my first video watching and reaction to Filter. Dang! If you saw that, then you know what I'm about to say. We can't talk about Filter. We can't really talk about Jimin. We can't actually even talk about BTS without talking about their sex appeal. I don't know about you. I know some people who watch some of these videos are single, in their 20s, in their 40s. Some of you are men. Some of you are in your 70s. Are there any of us that watch BTS videos in our army and don't ever find any sex appeal in what they're doing? And is it wrong for us to have conversations about the sex appeal that they clearly put into some of their songs? But would it be fair for us to ignore that and not talk about that? But then that becomes a very loaded conversation because we have to address the fact that Asian men are considered passive, non-sexual.
And it's the polite indifference. We're not exactly looked at as threats, and we're not exactly put on a pedestal. We are just politely not cared about.
As well as having a real discussion about Asian men and sexuality, BTS and their sex appeal. Just kind of an honest conversation about that. An awkward one, perhaps. And for that matter, even address the racism that is directly thrown at BTS by people who say they don't look like real men, they look like women, they appeal only to teen girls and middle-aged twinks. I think, wasn't that the line that H3H3 used?
I hate K-pop. I don't get BTS.
K-pop?
They look like they're just a bunch of... How did this become a thing in Western culture where all these grown men and little girls are jerking off to little K-pop boys? It's like a little fetish. It's like a little twink gay fetish about these K-pop boys.
But do people like it ironically? Or?
No! Let's see, I've used the gay word derogatorily.
A couple times.
What can you do to me? I've already said the N-word. You can't take me down. I've already said the N-word. Live.
Let's not invite
You
anyone.
can't touch me.
We live in a culture, the Western world, where we don't acknowledge Asian as sexy if it's a man. But we do acknowledge it as sexy if it's an Asian woman. And what does it mean that BTS is considered sexy? And how is that breaking down walls for other Asian men in our society? And for that matter, men who talk about BTS being sexy actually has become a huge meme, the humorous, enjoyable subject of many YouTube videos. First, can we talk about a few amazingly sexy BTS songs? I mean, just the songs themselves. Let's talk about Jimin, who has Filter, which spurred this whole conversation for me. We have Serendipity, which is an incredibly sexy song. And then we have Lie, which is very sexy even though it's not about sex. I personally think Jungkook's My Time is an incredibly sexy song. It is just a gorgeous, gorgeous song. Airplane is very sexy from J-Hope, Singularity from V, and then, like, as a band, we have, well, the vocal line, we have House of Cards. That's a very sexy song.
No way, no way, no way.
We have Make It Right. We have Blood, Sweat, and Tears. We have Let Me Know. We have Like. We have Ano Bashoda. Probably, okay. We have Tomorrow. I just discovered the song Tomorrow, and oh my gosh, as soon as Sugar starts. Oh. The song is, and every single one of them, and it just sounds. And then Pied Piper, the song where they acknowledge the power they know they wield. It's like, them acknowledging it just pulled me in even more.
어쩌면 그래 나는 조금 위험해 조금 위험해 너를 이끄는 패리 부는 사나이처럼 나는 너를 시험해 알면서도 이끌리는 선악가처럼 내 피리는 모든 걸 깨워 그 소리 너를 태워도 이끌려 반응하는 너.
Watch Pierre XO talk about anti-Asian discrimination here in America. Pierre asked,
in fact, can you name a famous Asian icon off the top of your head?
What Asian men, as far as celebrities go, what Asian men come to mind? Jet Li popped in my head immediately. I think about Randall Park, which now I wonder, is his last name Park or is it Bak? I'm trying to say it the more Korean proper pronunciation, just like Jimin's last name. Then you have Daniel Day Kim, the actor from Lost. He and Saeed were my two favorite characters in Lost. They were gorgeous. Name me a white man from Lost that is as attractive as Daniel Day Kim. I'll put Sawyer up there. Then you have Steven Yeun. Did I say his name right? Steven Yeun from The Walking Dead. Glenn, we miss you. Walking Dead was never as good without you. Those are the guys that popped off the top of my head as far as actors and their characters are sidekick-ish.
In fact, can you name a famous Asian icon off the top of your head? Bruce Lee, Jackie Chan. And if you could name any of the others, please try asking any of your friends or your family members if they recognize that name. So it turns out the top two Asian icons were martial arts superstars that kind of reached their peak decades ago. And how are Asians represented in the media? They're either nerdy, passive, hyper-intelligent, asexual, effeminate, emasculated, awkward, martial artists, sidekicks, and overall, we're just kind of portrayed as caricatures.
Pierre XO actually talks about Jet Li in his movie Romeo Must Die with Aaliyah and how desexualized he was made.
Example of this is Jet Li and Aaliyah in the film Romeo Must Die, where Jet Li is literally super badass, kicks a bunch of ass in the film, and at the very end of the film, all he gets is a hug. And an interesting fact about this is that they actually filmed the scene where Jet Li actually kisses Aaliyah, but they decided to refilm that entire scene because they believed that watching a sexualized Asian man on screen would make the American audience uncomfortable. Even though he's ass-kicking and super competent, at the end, he only gets a hug. And I wonder, if you replaced Jet Li in that same role with Leonardo DiCaprio or Brad Pitt, how different would they be looked at?
There's been chemistry the whole movie. Where's the kiss? And I hate to feel like a movie needs to end on that cliche note, but it was a cliche movie. Of course it needed to end on the cliche note. They used him to play the part of the martial arts and then relegated him to a desexualized version of the friend. And I have heard so many people, non-army, talk about BTS as being very feminine and being surprised that Asian men are so girly.
Asian men are heavily emasculated, and especially with the Eastern cultural upbringing, the idea of masculinity differs entirely from the Western view of masculinity. So basically, Eastern masculinity is viewed as highly effeminate in Western culture. The Eastern view of masculinity is to put up walls and to behave, while the Western view of masculinity is a lot more machismo and breaking through all of the boundaries and barriers.
A guy I know watched a couple BTS videos back to back per my recommendation and then had the nerve to say to me, "I'm just surprised Asian men want to look so girly." Honestly, the comment seemed less genuine and more shrouded in an almost insecurity of how are these men comfortable portraying these different parts of themselves instead of just trying to fit into our Americanized or westernized box of sexuality. And then on top of being just compared to women in general, Asian men are also referenced as, you know what? Instead of me saying it, I'm gonna let Pierre XO handle it from here because...
And when it comes to Asians and dating, there's a very big difference in how Asian men are treated and how Asian girls are treated. But let's begin with Asian men. You're probably thinking, oh, whoa, Asian men, they have K-pop and they're into this thing. All the girls love Asian men. But I want to ask you a question. What happened before K-pop got popular? And how were Asian men looked at? And while you think about that, I'll ask a few other questions. How often do you see regular Asian men that look like those K-pop boys? How many Asian men are actually seen in the first place? And what fun is racism without the quintessential stereotypes? And for Asian people, of course, we got small dick, domesticated, nerdy, fetishized, passive, good at math, asexual, submissive, emasculated, beta workaholic subhumans. Just to name a few. The Asian man has it really hard when it comes to dating.
I mean, let's just be honest. If you're a woman who's talked with your friends about dating, how often did you hear about how Asian men have little... I know, I heard it a lot. I have to say I respect men who've come out, straight men who've come out as, I hate that it's become memed, basically, but the Jimin Effect videos have been really great. PewDiePie's coming out, my coming out story video, I think is really great. Does he say some super insensitive things? Yes. Is it PewDiePie? Yes. And he says some things that are not on point. However, I have come through BTS more than ever to appreciate anybody who can discuss finding men sexy, who's comfortable enough their own identity to acknowledge that.
K-pop, it's a wonderful thing that happened to the world. I'm gonna show you some K-pop that will change your life. What? What is this? Some pretty deep lyrics right there, man. The Koreans have evolved their species above writing lyrics. They Honestly, the music isn't really my forte. It's a bit too dance for me, okay? The thing is, I want to love BTS so bad because goddamn, number one, they're goddamn beautiful. Individually, they're not that attractive. But as a group, this weird thing happens where they just become like, bah! You know, that statement about them not being attractive individually? I may have to retract that statement. I've just seen this video. I like men now. This just in, I like men now. I like the videos because they're so visual and it complements the music really well. This song I do like quite a bit. It's pretty good. Why am I making this video at this point? I made this video originally to try and make fun of K-pop. I can't do it. This is 100% the most pathetic video I have ever done. Literally anyone else reacting to K-pop is like, well, this is pretty gay. Me reacting to K-pop, well, I'm gay.
I obviously don't have clear feelings on where this conversation should go. I just feel like it's a conversation that needs to be had. Why is BTS sexy but other Asian men aren't? When are we going to acknowledge that men who wear makeup are perfectly sexy also and that it doesn't make them girly? Why is it okay for women to be dressed down and considered sexy, but not for a man to be dressed up and considered sexy? And why are we so flipping terrified of Asian men that we have to desexualize them? Why Why are we so terrified of Asian women that we have to sexualize them?
When it comes to Asian women, that's one thing that we are praised for, is that Asian women are looked at positively because they're domesticated, they're submissive, they're quiet, and they're obedient. They're often fetishized and very objectified, almost as if some sort of trophy, where a lot of Westerners will literally go all the way over to the East in these certain places, literally just to, you know, pick through their dolls.
I mean, we live in a country that takes Asian men and makes them neutral and asexual, and takes Asian women and makes them fetishized and then villainized for it. And I hope BTS is a huge part of tumbling this wall down so that we're looking more at people as people, because honestly, as gorgeous as they are, as full of makeup as they are, and the hair and the costumes, look at them. Look at them. I mean, sincerely, look at them. Not the costume, not the show. Look them in the face. They are Asian men. They look like Asian men. If you look at them, if you look at their faces, as beautiful as they are, you can see that they look like Asian men, which means Asian men are beautiful. I'm probably speaking to the choir, and I'm sorry, I don't know how else to go about this. Conversations we need to have with other people in our lives, and I've been working to have it with people in my life who give me kickback on BTS being girly, because that's absolute junk. I used Pierre XO extensively in this video to share his viewpoint. His video is fascinating. I highly recommend you check my description box or go to the Stop Asian Hate playlist I have. It is fascinating. It is an honest perspective regarding the Asian American experience. However, I will disagree with Pierre that I believe that BTS is playing a part in breaking down the stereotypes toward Asian males. I don't believe I'm putting words in his mouth when I say I think Pierre XO believes that the highly costumed, performance-based K-pop experience sets up very unrealistic expectations for other Asian men to live up to. And he is an Asian man. He 100% may be right about that. What I will say is maybe it's because I'm an older ARMY, or maybe ARMY does just look at things differently than what he believes. I'm able to separate BTS as sexy men from also being sexy performers. But first and foremost, BTS are men who are sexy. They happen to be Asian. They are not sexy because they are Asian. They are not sexy despite being Asian. They are sexy men, as is Pierre. And I can separate that from the performance. So I do think they are helping break down walls and boundaries that Western media continues to try to prop up. Leave your thoughts below about sexy Asian men. Please in the comments, leave below names of other Asian men, movies, whatever music that you find gorgeous. And let's debunk this. Let's derail this desexualization of Asian men and this objectification of Asian women. Thank you for hanging in here with me. I love you. God loves you, most of all. BTS loves you as who you are. And they want more for you. Love yourself. Borahae. Another reaction coming at you very soon. Any recommendations? I would love to hear them. And yeah, I'll stop rambling now.